Well, over the past few weeks, we've been speaking with the people who are vying for the top job in the Conservative Party. This morning's candidate is Erin O'Toole. He's a lawyer, former military officer. He was the Minister of Veterans Affairs in the Harper government. He comes from a political family. His father, John O'Toole, was an Ontario MPP for the same Durham, Ontario riding that he now represents federally. He is also a father of 2 young kids and a Fitbit partner of my co-host, Ben Mulroney. Joining us in studio this morning, Erin O'Toole. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll get to the Fitbit competition before we go, but you have said that the Conservative Party needs to reconnect with more people, some of the people they lost in this last election. Who are you targeting, and how are you going to do it?
I think a lot of people voted for us in 2008 or in 2011 for a strong fiscal message, good economic management, job creation, lower taxes. I think especially in the GTA, where I represent, lower mainland Vancouver, lots of the urban suburban centers, I think wanted change. They voted for change, but they didn't want $30 billion deficits. They didn't want tax increases.
Well, they knew a tax increase was coming if they voted in a Liberal government. For
the so-called 1%. I've never seen in Canada this sort of wedging of Canadians against one another like Mr. Trudeau has done. But yeah, he said, well, I'm going to tax the 1%. I'm going to tax small business. He's going to bring in the carbon tax. I don't think most people, when they voted for change, voted for those economic policies. So I think to have a leader that's fresh, that has economic experience, we can win back a lot of those voters, but we need to earn the trust, I say. We need to win back the confidence.
Somebody who's been in the party, where do you see that the confidence was lost in this last election? Because the fiscal platform was there the last time around, so what did they leave?
I think, Mr. Trudeau did a good job expressing hope or optimism. And I think that was lacking a bit in our campaign. We needed to reach out to more people, bring in younger people who right now are doing unpaid internships, they're underemployed, and the finance minister just said they better get used to job churn. I've called that the modern equivalent of let them eat cake. It's we're not going to do anything we know you're going to suffer for 10 years. As Conservatives, we're private sector focused. I think we can appeal to whole new swaths of voters that will surprise people applying some of our conservative principles.
Part of this campaign, when you have 12 candidates, is being able to stand out. Kelly Leitch was, first out of the gate. She's grabbed a lot of headlines, most recently after the debate, by saying that she agrees with some of the policies of Donald Trump. How do you plan to stand apart?
Look, my track record is basically how I lived my life. I was taught to serve my community and country by my family. I served in the military, then I got into the private sector, but I was very charitable inclined. I helped start the True Patriot Love Foundation for military families. I'm about community. I'm about the country. I think I can appeal on that optimistic level about our future. But at the end of the day, the government is about making sure mom and dad has a job if they want one, that we can afford to stay in our home with rising electricity costs, these sorts of things. We can't afford pet projects that we see the Trudeau government launching on. So I'm going to, over the next few months, tell people who I am, why I'm running, and earn that trust back for Conservatives.
We keep hearing about this big tent of the Conservatives, but there are very different polls within that tent of how people believe in philosophies. We've heard of anti-Canadian values. Stephen Blaney's talking about bringing up the niqab debate. How do you see yourself as the best leader for this party?
I think if you look at the great support I already have in caucus, and there's more to come, I'm really the one that has support from all parts of the party, all geographies, people that are brand new MPs. I was talking about our friend Martin Shields. He's one of our brand new, third of our caucus is new. I'm going to reach out to all of them based on an optimistic future where the Conservative Party shows our strength on the economy, Canada's role in the world. A lot of these things that people agree with, but they voted for change. We need to change them back.
The next few debates that are coming up are going to be in French. Will you participate?
I will, absolutely. Yeah, I spoke French when I was in the military. I'm improving it constantly, but I'm able to understand and speak well. And I think some other candidates will have more of a challenge, but I've already participated in some media and those sorts of things in French. The debates will be fine, and I want to listen and speak in all languages.
When we take a look at the deadline, it's January, February of this upcoming year. Not all the candidates have declared. How do you see somebody like a Kevin O'Leary fitting into this race?
I've had some interesting chats with him about the economy. He knows that I'm really the only person with significant private sector experience. I work with small businesses. I work with a large exporting company that's a manufacturer in Ontario. So he likes that experience. I think he's going to weigh in from time to time where he wants. I don't think he'll run, but it's up to him. And the more the merrier at this point.
You told me you explained this race to your daughter as the red team against the blue team?
Yes.
And you're looking to be the what of the blue team?
I'm looking to be the captain or the cheerleader in many ways. I think we have a strong team. It's not just about one person as leader, But the men and women we have stepping forward for us are exceptional. And the more we focus on that, the more Canadians will come back to us.
All right, well, we want to thank you for being here on Your Morning. Good luck in beating Ben in your Fitbit challenge.
He's hard to keep up with.
Oh, tell me about it. Oh, look, see, there we go now.
See? How do I compete with that?
You don't. I've learned you just don't.